to the Tool Station Northern Counties East League podcast. I'm Richard Watts. We start with League General Manager Matt Jones. With so many games being postponed last weekend, I started by asking him what the procedure is for postponing a game due to bad weather.
We've had a really bad weekend for fixtures in the weekend just gone, with only 2 games going ahead due to the ice and the snow. In terms of postponements, we would ask the referee should inspect the pitch. Ideally, that would be the match referee. But in view of the weather and in fact that they have jobs and that kind of thing, the match referee might not always be available. So if the match referee is not available, we would ask clubs to get another equivalent level referee. To referee in the Northern Counties East League, there needs to be a level 4 referee. So if you can't get your match referee to come and look at the pitch, please get another level 4 referee instead. The most important thing on any pitch inspection is player safety. That's the utmost important, the utmost consideration for anybody. So when the referee gets there, first thing to look at, is it unplayable when he gets there straight away? Are there puddles on the pitch? Is it frozen? Is it covered in snow? Have a look at the weather forecast. So you might be there at 9 o'clock in the morning, but by 3 o'clock, is it going to thaw out? Is it likely to clear? So could it be playable at 3 o'clock? Take that into consideration. If the game starts again, is it likely to finish? That's the other, by 4:45, will it still be playable? So all these kind of things need to be looked at. The other thing we would ask the referee to do is look at the departure time of the visiting club. Obviously, we cover a big area across 7 different counties. Some they may only need to leave a couple of hours before kick-off. Others they might need to set off in the morning or dinner time. So take into consideration the time the visiting club's going to leave. When the referees made the decision as to whether the pitch is playable or not, we would ask them to communicate firstly with both the teams and then with myself at the league, so we know the game's off. And there's a variety of ways that's acceptable now. We've kind of moved the league into the 21st century. So it might be a phone call, but we also use WhatsApp, text messages, anything like that. We also, across the league, if we look out and the weather forecast is grim and there's 6 inches of snow across the whole region, we do on occasions put in the cold weather protocol, which allows teams to call off games without the need for a pitch inspection. If everything's covered in snow and it's clearly not going to be playable across the whole area, then we don't want referees having to travel 50, 100-mile round trip to look at a pitch when it's a formality that the game's going to be off. And that also saves the clubs a little bit of money in terms of they have to pay the referees travel. And if the referee comes to do a pitch inspection, he's also entitled to half of his match fee. So if it's clearly going to be unplayable across the whole area, we allow teams just to call the games off. One final change that we've made recently to the match inspection, pitch inspection procedure, we do on occasion now accept photographic evidence or video calls with the referee. Again, it's a move into the 21st century. So if the referee's living 50 miles away, the pitch is covered in snow or there's huge puddles over it, we will accept a video call between the club and the referee, where the referee can clearly see that pitch is unplayable without the need to go.
And on a rearranged game, does it have to be rearranged within a certain time? How does that work on rearranging?
No. I do the fixtures for the league, so when a game gets called off, I have a big spreadsheet at home that shows the next available dates, midweek or whatever, for each of the teams involved. And the first thing I do is look and match it up and see where it fits in best for both teams. Now, if it's a long journey, we'll try and put it in the springtime when the weather's not so bad. If it's only 10 minutes up the road, we'll try and fit it in on the first available midweek and hope for the best and see if the weather's okay. But there's no set time scale as such. So long as the fixtures are completed and the league is done by the end of April, the FA are happy.
I then asked Matt to tell us how the league is set up behind the scenes.
The league committee and board basically split into 2 separate areas now. The League Incorporated became a limited company in March 2021, and that required the formation of a board. We have a board of 7 directors, which is the chairman, the vice chairman, myself as league manager, the finance director, and 3 who don't have a set role as such within the organisation other than being directors. And the posh title for that is a director without portfolio. It basically allows us to give them any job we want them to do and join in with. Yeah. The board meets as and when required. We don't have any set dates. On average, it's been about once every 2 months. And the difference between the board and the management committee, the board deals purely with the financial side of the business, and the management committee deals with the football side of the business. So the management committee has 14 people on it, which is the 7 directors that they're also on the management committee, but they're joined by referee and assistant referee appointment officers, 3 match day inspectors who go around and visit clubs for us and check the standard of the grounds, our website manager, and our club reps. And alongside all these people, we're assisted by the president, who is Keith Hackett at the moment, ex-referee. Keith attends all the board meetings, but doesn't have a vote, so he can listen in, he can put in his input, opinions and that kind of. But Keith doesn't have a vote on the board. We have 4 vice presidents, who are former officers of the league, who retired from the roles they were doing generally, but wish to stay involved. We have a life member, who is Brian Gould, who retired as finance director at the end of last season, but again wished to stay involved. And we also have one of the most important roles, I think. We have a league chaplain, and the chaplain is available there for any player, any manager from any club to ring if they're feeling a bit. Yeah, we've touched on mental health in a previous podcast. If they're feeling down, if they need a bit of support, it doesn't have to be a religious conversation, although it obviously is a chaplain. It's for anybody that's just feeling a bit down, needs a bit of help. And we had an issue about a year ago now where a player for one of our teams was having an absolute nightmare of a game, got hauled off at half time by the manager, was in tears in the dressing room, and after the game went home and tried to commit suicide. And real horrible incident, but our chaplain got involved with that, spoke to the lad and did what we could to help. So he's a very, very vital support mechanism for the league, really.
Is that sort of commonplace amongst most leagues, or having a chaplain, or is the NCEL pretty?
There's not many that have got one across for the league, but there are certain clubs. I mean, the chaplain that we have is also the chaplain for Sheffield Wednesday, Rotherham United, Sheffield Eagles Rugby Club, and he actually approached us, and we thought that sounds like a really good idea, with mental health being such a big issue. But I don't think there's many leagues that have actually got one. It's a really important person for us to have in place.
If you have a question for Matt Jones, please email NCEL Podcast@gmail.com, and we'll try and include that question in a future edition. Volunteers are essential to all clubs at this level, and on the podcast we hope to feature a number of volunteers in future episodes. If you're a volunteer who would like to come onto the podcast and talk about what you do in your club, then email NCELpodcast@gmail.com. I'm at Barton Town and I'm talking to Aaron Irwin, who's a volunteer at Barton. What is it you do at the club?
Well, what don't I do at the club? It's a better question. So I'm social media, website manager. I built the website from scratch and put that together. So on a match day, I'm a Swiss Army knife. I've got a camera in one hand, my phone in the other for social media, and I operate the scoreboard as well. Throughout the week, I send out marketing materials to sponsors. There's so many things I do. It's hard to keep track of them all, really.
How many hours a week do you think you spend on doing club stuff?
It's like a full-time job. You love the club, so you put the time and the effort in. I couldn't put a ballpark figure on it, I don't think.
And how long have you been doing it? When did you start?
I joined Barton in April 2018, but before then I was at Bridgetown and Hull United, and that started in 2015.
What were you doing there? Similar sort of things?
Yeah, so started. I was at uni and they said you need work experience. So Hull United were after a media man, so I was like, well, there you go. I'll jump straight into that. Hull United for one season. Then when they got relegated, I joined Brid. Stayed there for a couple of years, and then Matt, the chairman here, I worked for him, so he said, do you want to come work for me and do Barton Town as well? So I was like, yeah, why not?
It's Hull United in the days of Curtis Woodhouse and Ian Ashby, and I bet that was quite exciting.
It was never a dull moment, I'll give you that. It's a shame what happened, because it was a really good team. Players who they've played here since, but it was a really good team. And obviously, once they got relegated back down to the Humber Prem, it all kind of went bang a bit. So that's when I moved to Brid.
And certainly an experienced chairman to work under at Bridlington, Pete Smurthwaite.
I can't say enough nice words about Pete. He, proper looked after me. Proper football man, loves his football, works hard for it. He's got a good army of volunteers there. We've got a good army of volunteers here as well. Makes the job a lot easier when people you work with are helpful and bend over backwards to help you, really.
Yeah. And if you're going to give some advice to somebody thinking of volunteering at the local NCEL club, what would you say?
It's counterproductive to say don't, isn't it? No, it's one of them. If you want to get into it and you love your non-league, you value it over spending 30 quid going to watch Hull City, for example, then get involved, because they need the help. Every non-league club needs a bit of help here and there, and so just come down and see what you think. I mean, it's cheap and cheerful. For a tenner you get food, drink and a game of football. You can't say more, can you?
Over to Phil Withers, who's looking at an NCEL season from years gone by.
Hello. Today we look at the NCEL's second season, 1983-84. As in the inaugural season, the league had 5 divisions: a Premier Division, Division 1 North, Division 1 South, Division 2 North and Division 2 South. The Premier Division consisted of 18 of the 20 clubs who played in the first season. The 2 missing clubs were Shepshed Charterhouse, who had been promoted, and Skegness, who had resigned. In 83-84, Spalding United were the Premier Division champions, beating both Arnold and Emley by a point. Division 1 North was won by Pontefract Collieries, with Rowntree Mackintosh as runners-up. Interestingly, both sides had been promoted at the end of the first season to make 14 clubs in Division 1 North. Only Pontefract were promoted at the end of the season. Another promoted club, Borrowash Victoria, won Division 1 South. However, it was runners-up Dennerby United who were promoted. In Division 2 North, Harrogate Railway finished 5 points ahead of Armthorpe Welfare. Brook Sports finished bottom and resigned from the league. Division 2 South was won by Retford Town, in sharp contrast to neighbours Retford Rail, who resigned from the league. Kimberley Town were runners-up. As the league was reorganised for the following season, a large number of clubs were transferred around the new divisions, hence why I've hardly mentioned promotion. The League Cup was won by Division 1 North side Ossett Albion, who beat Ilkeston Town 2-1 in the final. The Premier Division top scorer was M.S. Johnson of champion Spalding with 30 league and cup goals. Ossett Albion's A. Smith was top scorer in Division 1 North, also with 30 goals, while Star Guest of Woolley Miners Welfare took the honours in Division 1 South with 26. A. Canham from Harrogate Railway with 26 goals and K. Hutchinson from Retford Town with 21 goals took the Division 2 North and South honours respectively. Premier Division clubs Bentley Victoria Welfare and Arnold are 2 names that are no longer found playing football. Likewise, Division 1 North Bradley Rangers and Division 1 South sides Freshfield Community Association, Arnold Kingswell and Norton Wood Seats. A number of Division 2 North sides are no longer in existence, including Phoenix Park and Pilkington Recreation. Oakham United, then in Division 2 South, are no longer in existence. The club was actually from Sutton in Ashfield and not from Oakham in Leicestershire.
Next up, NCEL Talk. I'll hand straight over to host Aaron Walton.
Evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening. Well, the weather did its best to obliterate football this weekend, so I think we've got to say a massive shout out to all the staff and volunteers who, as usual, put the hard work on in getting the few games on that were there. So a superb effort as usual. Thank you to everyone, the players for entertaining us too with some excellent football served up. I actually managed to get a game in. I don't know. I didn't see you, Sheridann, at Bottisford. Did you not go?
Unfortunately, I was at a wedding. So
yeah.
I'm back this Saturday and looking forward to it. Well, provisionally, if it's on.
If it's on, yeah. Now, we're pleased we've seen you because me and my son, listening to you, thought you were Jack P. Shepherd. You just sound like him. David Platt from Coronation Street.
Yeah, I don't know whether to take that as an insult or a compliment, but
Sheridann, you take it as a compliment because it's my son's favourite on Coronation Street, so it's a compliment.
Right, okay, I'll take it as that, and thank you.
That's what it was meant to. But now I've seen you in the flesh. You're certainly not David. You're much better looking.
Definitely not David Platt. I've had Max Branning, Phil Mitchell.
The usual ones. We're going off your voice. So,
thank you.
Right, that's all right. So basically, just get quickly over because we've got a slightly different tact tonight. I was at the Bottisford game against Campion on the old 4G pitch. Score was 3-0 to Campion, but I don't think that told the whole story. I think Bottisford did give them a game. It's just that Bottisford were a little bit, I wouldn't say toothless up front. They just didn't quite have the power up front. And again, obviously, Campion did a real professional job on them. Scored late on in the first half and late on in the second half. And that's all you can do. But
again, I've watched it back on the VO, and Bottisford were really resilient. I think they just ran out of steam last 10 minutes. We got a couple of goals towards the end, but I've also heard Paddy Sykes could have had 3-4 goals. So
yes, he could. Yeah, it's one of them swings and roundabouts. If they go in, they go in. If they don't, they don't. But it was a good game, and all you can do is beat what's put in front of you, and they certainly did. They played well. So really good back at the top of the league. So as I said, last week's lack of games has made time for us for a change tact a little bit tonight and indulge ourselves at giving our favourite 3 NCEL players and our favourite 3 grounds too. So we're still keeping it topical and relevant in all things NCEL, aren't we? So now the rules are we can't have our own players or our own ground. So we've got to choose 3 players who we like and 3 grounds what we like and reasons why. So who wants to kick this off then?
I'll go first if no one else is going to
go on then, Si. You go first. Give Sheridann time to have a think.
So we'll go with the grounds first.
Go on then, yeah.
So first one I've got down is one that isn't outstanding in terms of the facility and everything else compared to some places, but I like its uniqueness, and that's Retford FC.
Retford FC, yeah.
I like a lot of the little character parts that they've got there. You've got the tunnel that you walk through to get to. You sort of walk through the tunnel that's underneath the road to get into the ground.
Yeah.
You've got the railway line next to the ground, which is really unique as well. So, like, every now and again, you see a train going past when they've got the game. They've got a nice little stand there with the seating stand in sort of the old tiered system. It's not covered, or it wasn't last time I was there. I don't know if it is now.
Yeah, I don't think it still is covered.
And to say that they're only sort of like a fresh club, a bit like Wakefield Irish as a new club, but they've started from scratch where we've always, rented somewhere as such. I think they've done a lot of good progress with that, and they've got plenty of room for expansion as well. So it's a ground that I enjoyed going to last year and looking forward to revisiting this season. So
that's Retford. That's your first one, Retford FC. What's your second ground then?
Selby,
a ground I've been to a few times. Yeah,
nice ground. Great bar. That's the one where I think if you're looking at the bar and food facilities, that's top draw.
It takes a lot of beating. They just had the bar redone a couple of seasons ago. I went when they were playing Yorkshire Amateurs pre-season, and I was really, really impressed with how good the bar was and the facilities inside, and the food's good as well. So yeah, real good choice.
It's really good, is that? And then the one that I think probably would be on most people's list from Division 1, and that's Staveley, because, you know, it obviously it was from a higher level, you know, that they've been further up the league anyway, but first-rate facilities there in terms of the pitch, the stands, the facilities, the bar, the whole works. You know, they've got a great place there. So those were the top three in terms of grounds that we visited so far.
That's definitely. The only thing is with Staveley, I love Staveley's ground. I love everything about Staveley. The people there are really good. Sheridann has got everybody ticking there. But if you don't like blue and white stripes, don't go, because everything is blue and white stripes. If you stand still long enough, I think Terry will be painting you blue and white.
It's
so
like a magic eye picture or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
stare at the blue and white stripes long enough, like a picture of a footballer will appear.
Yeah. I know me and Richard are very envious when we go, because they've got that lovely tower where you can commentate from and have your cameras there. We love one at Barton Town, but I don't think we'll get one. So that's your favourite three grounds. We'll go to and see what your favourite three grounds are then. Have you had a think yet?
Yes, I have. Sorry. That's right. So, firstly, I'll go with Emily. Emily's got that bit of an historical feel to it. That's why there's a lot of history there, and they're doing a lot of work to it as well. So, always made to feel welcome at Emily, especially the food. The food's absolutely brilliant. Fantastic ground there. Second, I'm going to take size and go Staveley. I've been to Staveley a couple of times, and again, the bar, absolutely fantastic, especially with the memorabilia around it as well. They've got all signed memorabilia, club shop. I even got a couple of books from that club shop last year. So, and they've spent a lot of money on it, I believe, as well, Staveley.
Yeah, they have. Every time you go, there's something new there. And what's your last one then, Sheridann?
Lastly, and I'm not sucking up here, but I'm going to go Barton.
All right. Well, please tell us why.
Yeah, I were pretty blown away when we went there earlier in the season. Again, we were made to feel welcome. The hospitality were perfect. Same with the bar. I just thought this is a fantastic setup. This, because I always do take a look around the setups and I'll try and hopefully I'll bring that into Campion as well, because we're wanting to improve our own facilities. So I always try to steal a couple of ideas. Not going to lie.
Oh, yeah. But that's what it's about.
Yeah. And you look to have done some work to the ground recently as well. Last few seasons, have you?
Yeah, we've had the new entrance put in, so the car park's been upgraded. They've had, when you went, I don't know if you went into the old boys' suite, with a little hospitality room. That's new. It's like a porter cabin. When the chairman says, "Oh, I bought a new porter cabin," we thought, "Oh, it'd be a real old rackety old thing, brand new." What it was. So hats off to the chairman, and that's where we are, because we've had so many little different places where we've done hospitality. But it's nice to get either the referees away from the bar. Not that they're going to drink beforehand, but you know what I mean. And then you're just to give them a bit of pre-match hospitality, and then your away committee, getting them guys in, bit of warmth, bit of food. It's always nice, isn't it, just to be away from the bar, I think, and just talk football. So that's a good choice there. So, well, I'm going to have my choice now. So I'm going to go controversial. I'm going to go with Gould. Oh dear, I can feel myself being shot down. Victoria Pleasure Grounds, for me, it's a reminder of my youth with continental football. You didn't really see a great deal of continental football on TV. It was just in Shoot magazine or occasionally on Sports Night midweek, Liverpool playing St Etienne or Vidzev Lodz. But I had a really passion for East German football, and Gould's Victoria Pleasure Grounds with a running track round it just reminds me of an old East German ground, something like Karl-Marx-Stadt or Lokomotiv Leipzig, Dynamo Berlin, Dynamo Dresden, all those glorious teams. And when you go to the Victoria Pleasure Ground, it's a very partisan crowd, I must admit. But that makes it. Do you know what I mean? It really does make it. And I really enjoy going to Gould because Barton usually beat them as well. But that's by the by. So that's Gould. My second choice is Thackley's ground, Dennyfield. Not so good in winter, but it's in the summer or early season. It's beautiful. You go down that little lane and there's that forest round it. Really nice watching football from there. And the game where Barton and Thackley always have a good game, really good game, plenty of goals in it usually. You watch next time we play, maybe 0-0. And lastly, I'm going to go with Shearing Park at Athersley Rec. I know some of the changing rooms and bits and bobs are dropping to bits a bit, but Athersley haven't got any money, but they always give you a really good non-league warm welcome. And I like the ground. It's got a bit of everything. It's got those seated stands either side behind each goal, which you will not go and sit in, especially before they kick off. Otherwise, you'll get thumped with the ball on the lug hole. But it's got a bit of everything there at Athersley. So that's my three. And you've got to give honourable mentions, and I think you guys will. The likes of Silsden with a view, beautiful view around the ground, and they're always doing bits and bobs to it. Peddiston again, Goldker always doing bits and bobs. But a little special mention to a local team, Brigtown. I don't know if you've ever been to Briggs Ground, the Hawthorns. Have you, Sheridann, Si, have you been to the Hawthorns yet?
Yeah, I went to them last
Unfortunately, I haven't.
You haven't? Oh, and you have, Si?
Nope.
Yeah, is it fourth oldest club in the world, I think,
something like that. Yeah, one of the oldest grounds. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen the seating they've got on the clubs on the changing room sides. What they've done is a great bit of recycling and thriftiness. They've had a bar refit and they've taken all the settees and what have you, comfy chairs out the bar and put them along a stand with a roof on it, and it's probably the best seating you'll ever get. So well done, Brig. So I think that's covered. I think we've been extravagant. We've covered all our favourite grounds. I think we've gone through a few different ones. I think everybody would, and I think we all agree, Staveley's probably one of the best grounds, best facilities in both leagues, to be fair. So we'll go on to our players. So have we had a good think about our players? Si, do you want to kick off again?
The players one is one where I do struggle a bit because, as obviously we've only had one season and a half in the league, and sometimes it's difficult to get used to which players are the key ones for each team. Like the strikers always stand out when you're looking at the stats. You know, guys like last season and now in the Premier, Ross Hanna springs to mind. Guys like Marcus Day from when he was at Campion, James Cusworth at Horbury and what have you. So for me, I thought for my three, it's like the type of players that I like. Okay. So slightly different. So I know it's actual named players, but the ones that I like to see. Yeah. So a goalkeeper with good character, the ones who can have a bit of banter with the fans as well. There's been a few of those over the sort of the matches that sort of spring to mind. I know Retford had a great one last year the ones who can take a bit of stick, but also have a bit of cheekiness with it as well.
Yeah, can give it out as well. Yeah. I like that.
Your strikers, always ones to look out for, like I mentioned with those ones. You know, someone who's going to give your backline a test and see if they can stand up to it. And I was going to say that I was going to use a word, but we can't probably use a swear on it. But the cheeky players, the ones that'll wind up your players and wind up a couple of fans, but have a bit of banter with it as well.
Oh yeah,
the real, the characters that are in a team.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the sort of thing where at non-league you can interact with it. You don't often notice it. I think if you go to pro football, in your league clubs, but at non-league level, it's those interactions and the entertainment that it brings people back. So
it does, definitely, yeah. It's that closeness, isn't it? And I think one of the best wind-up merchants is playing for Hallam at the moment, called Mr. Daniel Buttle. He's very good at winding the crowd up. And
Well, keep an eye out for him then if we ever get to play them.
well, long may it continue because it's brilliant and it does. He tends to wind everybody up. So well done to him. There used to be a guy he still plays for them, but unfortunately in a different league, and it's Andy Norfolk at Bridlington. Andy was fantastic for it, and he always used to get a bite. So I like that. That's a good way of putting it. What about you, Sheridan? Who have you got? Who would you like?
So, firstly, I'm going to go for Ollie Norman at Tadcaster. Every time he's played against us or Harrogate Railway last season in the controversially abandoned game at half time, and earlier this season for Tadcaster, he's absolutely ripped us apart. He's torn us a new one. So I'm not disrespecting the North East counties here at all, but I think he's certainly too good for this level. I might be wrong, but I think he's played for Bradford City, or he were certainly in Bradford City Academy in the past.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Cracking young player.
Yeah.
Secondly, I'm going to go for centre half at Emley, Jack Cowgill.
Oh yes, yeah. Never seems to put a foot wrong.
Dominant, and again, ex-pro, played for Barnsley for a few seasons. I think he made a few appearances in the Championship actually for Barnsley.
Wow.
Well, again, he were dominant against us, especially. So every time I've seen him, never put a foot wrong.
Yeah.
And thirdly, I'm going to go with an ex-Wakefield player who I've seen a few times, and I like my midfielders, so they always stand out. Jock Curran.
Oh, Jock Curran, yes.
He's now at Aubrey. Yeah.
Yeah, he's had a few. I think he's had a few this season because he played for us for a couple of games. I think he played for us again.
Right, yeah.
He was with us for a couple of games. I think I definitely saw him at the Tadcaster game when we not Tadcaster, Thackley, where we lost. I think it was 3-2 or 4-3. Yeah, Jock Curran. Yeah, I like Jock. Yeah, good player.
Always keeps it simple, gets it moving.
Yeah,
good player.
Yeah, he was highly regarded at Wakefield. A lot of fans were sad to see him go. And I don't know if you know, his dad used to play for Man City, Terry Curran as well.
Terry Curran, of course.
He's a great character to have at a game as well. So I miss having him there when he used to come to games as well.
Yeah. He's a great player. I think he's had a few clubs, Sheff Wednesday, Nottingham Forest as well. I think Everton. So he's had a few clubs played at the highest standard you could play at in the day. So so some good choices there, right? Well, I'll just muck it up and give you my three then, because well, I like a goalkeeper, always do, and I've gone for two keepers and a midfielder. So my first one, Levi Owen. Great little keeper. He's at Maltby Main, so he'll be busy. But every club he's played for has always been busy. And he's a character, like you said, Si. You like a goalkeeper who's a character. He's a definitely character. Lovely lad as well. Seen him for Clipston against Barton a few seasons ago. I think we put about 4 or 5 past Clipston, but it could have been 10 if it wasn't for him. Absolutely superb display. Then I saw him playing for Allerton against Brigtown. Now, a couple of seasons ago, he couldn't kick the ball. He'd done something to his hamstring. So he's throwing it further than most people can kick it. And he had quite a bit of banter with the local youth of Brig. And I think he came out winner. So that's Levi Owen. My second one, Thackley's keeper, Luke Wilson. Real good keeper. Very same stature as Levi, not the biggest keeper, but he certainly is super agile and a great shot stopper. Really entertaining and a top bloke too. So that's my two keepers. I could have had a few more keepers because they're all characters in the leagues, aren't they? But my third one, I know we can't go for I don't like to go for our club, but he did play for our club and he was a character. Grant Tate at Beverley. I don't know if you've seen him play. He played for Barton last season. He was in Australia the year before that. Never stops running. He never scores tap-ins. I don't know if you've ever seen on YouTube the clip he scored in the FA Cup for Barton Town against Spalding United from the halfway line. The keeper boots it out. He gets it right on on a volley, straight back off the keeper's head into the goal from the halfway line. What a great goal that was. But
definitely look at that one after this.
Oh yeah, it really is a good one. Granted, Barton Town versus Spalding in the FA Cup about 3 or 4 seasons ago. What a real good goal. But he never stops running. And he's an absolute nutter. He'll turn up like tonight, training. He'll turn up in a T-shirt and shorts in this weather. Any weather. He'll turn up in T-shirts and shorts. But he'll give you 100% every game. He'll never stop running. And another nice lad. But he's so much energy. So that's my sort of top 3. Who I like to see. But I like you, Si, and Sheridann. We like characters, don't we? So,
and I think you find it again with non-league. You find it, whereas it's very corporate, isn't it? If you've got league football, they're not allowed to do interact and stuff. You're allowed to have characters here.
Yeah, I mean, there probably will be quite a lot of characters in the football league, but they're almost told to be sort of robotic, aren't they? Which is a shame, because there's characters the characters trying to come out all the time. But there's a few notable ones that I've missed out, like Slater Barkham Barnes. I like him. I don't know if is he still at Golka? It's the man with a name like an estate agent. He's a good player. Ibrahimi at Tadcaster. He was at Harrogate, wasn't he? He's a good midfielder. Joe Scars, of course. He was at Golka. Now he's at Hallam. Sweet left foot. And who's the lad at Retford? I think he was played at Maltby. I can't remember his name. He went for a fee beginning of the season. Can you remember him? I can't remember his name now. It's gone, but another good player. And of course, another good lad, Sam Barker at Garforth, another good player. So there's our players. So looking on, hopefully, to Saturday, we've got some good games coming up. But I think me and Sheridann, we've got Barton Town at your place at Campion. And
we have, weather depending.
Weather depending. I don't know what your pitch is like. If it's out like ours, it'll be waterlogged. What's it been like at Bradford?
Well, so it's been absolutely pouring it down today. So Bob, our chairman, he'll be on it tomorrow. He does all groundwork, so he may have done a bit today, but he'll definitely be on it tomorrow. And we should have a better idea tomorrow. I mean, I've not looked at forecast, so I'm not sure what's scheduled. But
you're still at the top after that win on Saturday. So played 22, 47 points, and your goal difference is good 30. But I'll tell you what I do. I'm really, really, really conscious of your home form. You haven't lost a game at home yet.
We haven't. Last time we lost at home was Harrogate Railway, final game at season. Dead rubber 1-0 defeat. So you've won 9, drawn 2, lost none at home. 42 goals scored for 15 against. That is phenomenal. So I ain't looking forward to coming. So it'd be good to see you guys, but I don't think it'll be really tough for Barton. The only thing I will say is they're well rested because we've not had a game. Don't rule yourselves out. I mean, obviously you gave us a cracking game at your place, and
it's great,
it was end to end, wasn't it? So
yes, yeah. I think 4-3. Was it 4-3? Sheridann in the end.
4-3. I remember Thomas Warby got a hat trick, and just after his hat trick goal, about 10 seconds after, Marcus Hay went up the other end and scored winner, didn't he? So
that's it. Yeah, so it really was. I mean, whoever came to that game got the money's worth, didn't they?
Yes, definitely.
So that for me, that's the game to look for me on Saturday if it's on, because I know the weather's been really bad everywhere. I think so. So we've got Emily in second. But they're 4 games behind yourselves. But as I say, it's better to have played than to be having to play them. So they're on 18 games, 43 points, and only 1 goal behind you on goal difference. So tight as tight can be.
So when it comes to us and Emily, I mean, there's other teams in mix as well. Obviously, Albion Sports, Thackley, they're up there. But all we can do is win our games, do our job.
That's all you can do. That's all you can do.
Yep.
And the teams have got to chase you rather than you looking over your shoulder. I think there's a few teams that haven't sort of quite got into the bootstraps yet. The Pennistons, it was at Barton, we haven't. Golka haven't. And I'm a little bit worried at Ecclesville, down in 18th at the moment. They usually are really, I mean, another one of my favourite grounds going to Eccleshill, but they're struggling down in 18th, 19 games, 16 points. So I hope they turn around. And then it's very, very tight at the bottom, isn't it, with Maltby and Gould. Both on 14 points. Maltby have played a game more. They've got 31 minus for goal difference, and Gould have played a game less, 18, same points, and they're minus 32. So that is as tight can be, isn't it? So
definitely. And shout out to Tadcaster as well, who picked up a good win midweek against Silsden.
They really did. Yeah. Give Taddy a shout. Good manager there, Mick O'Connell. They've got a good team. I mean, I was very surprised when we beat them 3-1. I mean, I was fully expecting. I was going to the game with Barton Town thinking, "Oh, it'd be nice to get a draw," but to pick all 3 points up, that I wasn't expecting that. So that's possibly had an off day there. So, but that's sort of Division 1. Now, if we look at Premiership, listen to me. Division 1, then Si. Wakey, again, I'm with the lads who follow the top teams.
I was thinking, me and Sheridann are quite liking this at the moment, because while we're on it,
yeah, you are. Yeah, it's poor old me. But Wakey at the top, played 22, 50 points. Wow, 50 points. Goal difference. Well, it's even better than Campions, plus 46. So that's brilliant. That. Then you've got Parkgate behind you. Now, they've only played 18 games. So, again, it's very similar to the Premier, isn't it? With their Parkgate are on 44 points. Goal difference isn't quite as good as yourselves, 40. Shirebrook, they're my sort of dark horse, Shirebrook, 22, 43 points. Then Wombwell, 21 games, 42 points. Retford United, 20 games, 41 points. And another one I've seen quite a bit of, Beverley, just lurching there in 6th. But they've only played 19 games and 40 points. Now, Beverley have got all the top teams to play. They've got Parkgate, yourselves, Shire, but they've got everybody to play. And I think they're playing Dronfield, all being well, on Saturday. And I think Dronfield is 7th. So that's going to be a real tough encounter for Beverley. So who have you got, Wakefield? Who have you got on Saturday, Si?
Because of the quirk of the league, we don't. With the odd number of teams, this is our week to sit out. So
right.
We were due to play Beverley last Saturday, and obviously there was only one game on, and that was, I mean, a shout out to Retford as well, putting 9 goals away on Saturday. So I think out of all the games that were called off, I think Swallow Nest were on the end of that one. I think they probably wished that one had been rained off as well.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Yeah.
And midweek, I don't know if you saw as well, Yorkshire Amateur picked up a win. Who've been going so well lately. Amateur have been struggling. And I think they heard in the week, obviously, they've been docked 3 points as well. And then they bounced back with a win on the road, which I think is pretty good.
It is. I mean, I saw that result and I thought, wow, they must have played well. I'm just wondering if Yorkshire Amateurs have got players who are sort of maybe dual signed. They were available maybe in the midweek, but they're not available on the Saturday because they're playing for somebody else. I don't know. But to pull that one out of the bag, well done, Yorkshire Amateurs. That's a really, really good result. So you've got a free
weekend.
Saturday then.
And looking at the rest of the fixtures as well, I think the one that you highlighted was like the nearest of the top 2 teams. Most of the other teams at the top of the table are playing teams from further down. So there's no that's like the biggest clash there is. There's no great sort of second place, third, or anything like that. So if everything goes to form, which it doesn't always do in this league, then things are going to sort of tighten up a bit. And we'll see if anyone can close that gap, eh?
Exactly, that you're there to be shot at. 50 points, 22 games for Wakefield, and if we go in the Prem as well, Campion 22 games, 47 points. So it's looking really good. So let's hope we get some games on at the weekend. Hopefully, I shall be seeing Sheridann on Saturday if the game's on.
Fingers crossed. I'll definitely keep you updated with it. So
yeah, and then if not, I shall probably go to Bottisford because it's a bit closer if it's cancelled. So hopefully not, and we'll reconvene same place, same time next week.
That's it for this edition. If you've got any news for the podcast or you'd like to appear on the podcast, please email ncelpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.